increased health benefits, schedule changes among proposals approved at NCAA convention. The NCAA's annual convention concluded Friday in Indianapolis with a series of rule changes and modifications, including one adopted by the Autonomy Five conferences, the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, Pac-12 and SEC, aimed at providing additional health benefits to its student-athletes. The three-day event was held against the backdrop of two significant storylines impacting college sports. One is the active FBI investigation into allegations of corruption and wire fraud in college basketball, which NCAA President Mark Emmert called Exhibit A for demanding action. Scandals that call into question our commitment to academic integrity make whatever praise we have of our highest graduation rates ring pretty hollow, Emmert said. The convention began following the apparent suicide of Washington State quarterback Tyler Hilinski, a 21-year-old rising junior who was found dead Tuesday in his Pullman, Washington, apartment. A panel held Wednesday on student well-being included a discussion on suicide prevention. The lack of education that we believe exists right now will make it worse if it's not solved, said former Cincinnati swimmer and student-athlete advisory committee representative Ines Elmanovic, via the Associated Press. Educating staff and coaches is just as important because they are the ones who are going to know when performance is slipping. And confidentiality is key. The NCAA's major conferences approved a proposal granting additional health benefits to its student-athletes, with a measure providing any needed medical treatment resulting from athletics injuries for at least 2 years after the student-athlete has left his or her institution. Representatives of the Autonomy Five also approved changing the word spouse to significant other in order for fiancés and domestic partners to be eligible to receive permissible benefits. Our students put a lot of time and effort into athletics and we want to do all we can to help and protect them, especially when it comes to health care, read a joint statement issued by the commissioners of the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, Pac-12 and SEC. The measure passed by a vote of 78-1. Among the other changes enacted or discussed at the NCAA convention, the Division I Board of Directors adopted a more flexible legislative schedule for 2018 to continue ongoing discussions regarding potential changes to the NCAA's existing transfer rules. This will allow the Division I Council to make its proposals in April, and potentially make a final vote as early as the summer, rather than wait for the traditional date of September 1 to issue its proposals. Two bodies, the Transfer Working Group and the Committee on Academics, have been working to develop a series of academic benchmarks that if met would allow student-athletes across all NCAA sports to play immediately as a transfer rather than the traditional method of expending one full season of eligibility. Also discussed was the notification of transfer proposal, which would require schools to enter information regarding a transfer into a national database within 5 days of a student-athlete stating his or her desire to transfer into another program. The database would be available to all NCAA institutions and run by the national office. The Division I Council also enacted a change to the college basketball schedule, ruling that the 2018-19 season can begin 3 days earlier, on November 6 rather than November 9. In response, the Autonomy Conference has passed a proposal requiring a 3-day break for basketball players over an institution's typical holiday break. Coaches will have additional flexibility in getting their teams prepared for the upcoming season without asking for additional time commitments from student-athletes, said Rich Enser, the commissioner of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference and chair of the Women's Basketball Oversight Committee. The proposal passed with a vote of 61-18. That modification was joined by a measure allowing women's basketball teams to begin their preseason camps earlier than in the past, lining up those start dates with men's teams. The subtle change will help administrators who previously had to monitor 2 separate start dates for their men's and women's basketball teams, the NCAA said in a release. One additional scheduling change will impact college football. 1 year after eliminating 2-a-day practices, the council marked the start of preseason camp as 29 days before a program's first game. Under the previous rule, The NCAA used a formula that counted back 40 practice units before the opening game.